Okay, so chances are you've probably heard of metformin. I mean, it's one of the most common prescriptions on the entire planet. But this pill, which seems so simple, has this absolutely wild story that goes all the way from medieval folk medicine to the cutting edge of anti-aging science. So let's dive in and uncover how it became one of the most important drugs we have today. You're not going to believe this, but the story of this modern wonder drug doesn't start in some high-tech sterile lab. Nope, it starts right here with this plant. It's called French lilac, and for centuries, people used it in folk remedies for symptoms that we now know are classic signs of diabetes. And from those really humble, ancient roots, it has exploded into a global phenomenon. More than 150 million people around the world take metformin. It's the #1 first-choice drug for type 2 diabetes. The scale of that, it's just mind-boggling. So the big question is, how on earth did a plant remedy from the Middle Ages make the leap to become the absolute foundation of modern diabetes treatment? Let's trace that incredible journey. And let me tell you, this was no overnight success. You can see right here it was a long, slow road. From its folk medicine days, scientists finally synthesized the active compound in the 1920s. But it still took until the 1950s for it to be used in Europe. And get this, it wasn't even approved in the United States until 1994. A very slow, steady, deliberate path to becoming a household name. And today, its primary mission is crystal clear. Goal #1, bring down high blood sugar. Goal #2, lower your HbA1c. That's kind of like a report card for your average blood sugar over the past few months. And maybe most important of all, goal #3, help prevent all those devastating long-term complications of diabetes. It's really the bedrock of managing blood sugar. But how does it do all that? I mean, what's it actually doing inside your body? This is where the science gets really, really cool. Let's peek under the hood and see how it works. So to understand metformin, you have to know this one term, gluconeogenesis. It sounds super technical, I know, but just think of your liver as a 24/7 sugar factory. It's supposed to make sugar when you need a boost of energy. The problem in type 2 diabetes is that this factory goes haywire and starts working overtime, just pumping out way too much sugar. And this is where metformin is just brilliant. It doesn't just do one thing, it launches this clever three-pronged attack. First, and this is the big one, it marches into that overactive liver sugar factory and tells it to slow down production. Second, it helps your muscles listen to insulin better, so they can actually pull sugar out of your blood and use it for fuel. And third, it has a smaller effect right in your gut, slowing down how fast you absorb sugar from your food. It's an incredibly smart, multifaceted approach. Now listen, if it only managed blood sugar, it would still be a fantastic drug. But the story gets even more interesting from here. It turns out metformin has a whole bunch of other amazing, unexpected benefits. You know, pharmacologists have this great term for it. They call it a dirty drug. Now, I know that sounds awful, but in this case, it's actually a huge compliment. It just means that metformin has all these positive ripple effects across tons of different systems in the body, way beyond just blood sugar. And here are some of the biggest ones. While a lot of other diabetes drugs can cause weight gain, metformin is either weight neutral or might even help you lose a little bit. It's also been shown to lower the risk of heart attacks. It can give your cholesterol a modest little nudge in the right direction, and it's used all the time off-label to help treat polycystic ovary syndrome or PCOS by tackling that core issue of insulin resistance. It's a real multitasker. Of course, no medication is perfect, and none are without risks. So let's switch gears and get practical. We need to talk about the important safety rules and the side effects. Okay, so the most common issues by far are stomach-related, nausea, diarrhea, things like that. But as you can see here, while up to 30% of people might get some of that, especially right at the beginning, that means the vast majority, 70%, don't. And a lot of times these effects can be managed just by starting on a low dose and working your way up. So, this is the really crucial thing to understand, separating the common from the rare. Over on the left, you've got those common GI issues we talked about, annoying for sure, but often temporary. On the right, you have the one serious risk you might hear about, lactic acidosis. Now, let me be clear, this is a medical emergency, but it is extremely rare. It almost only ever happens to people who already have severe kidney problems or other very specific health issues that make the drug unsafe for them. For most people, it has an excellent safety record. And because of that, there are some really important safety rules. Kidney function has to be checked regularly. Doctors also keep an eye on vitamin B12 levels, especially with long-term use. You'll often see it paused before a surgery or certain types of CT scans. And heavy alcohol use is a definite no-go. These are just standard, smart precautions. And all of this brings us to the future. I mean, after all these decades, you'd think we'd know everything there is to know about this drug. But researchers are now asking, what if its true potential is even bigger than we ever dreamed? Just check this out. For years, scientists have noticed that people taking metformin seem to have a lower rate of getting certain cancers. So that research is ongoing. But the one that has everyone really buzzing is aging. It turns out that a lot of the same biological pathways that go wrong in diabetes are also involved in the aging process itself. So, since metformin works on those pathways, scientists are now running trials to see if it can actually delay age-related diseases in people without diabetes. There's a huge landmark study happening right now. It's called the TAME trial, which stands for Targeting Aging with Metformin. And its whole goal is to figure out if this old, super inexpensive diabetes drug can help people live not just longer, but healthier as they get older. Which leaves us with this one final, fascinating thought. From a medieval plant remedy to the world's #1 diabetes drug, and now a potential game-changer in longevity science. Could this nearly 100-year-old pill hold one of the keys to a healthier future for all of us? It's an absolutely incredible story, and the best part is, it's still being written.